Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My husband Owen and I have been trying for a baby for years with no luck. I would be happy to adopt, but Owen's family is against it and has influenced my husband to also be against it. After our second year of trying, I begged my husband to go with me to get a checkup to see if either of us or both of us is infertile. He was strongly opposed to this, as all the men in his family are extremely fertile, but eventually gave in, and as it turns out, his sperm count is extremely low. He was heartbroken, as was I, and we both got therapy. After a year of no longer trying, I got pregnant, but lost the baby, and we were devastated. Owen blamed himself and proposed that we start the process of getting into a family planning center for a sperm donor, which I agreed to. He asked that we not tell either of our families about this, or our friends, and I agreed, because I would never want to emasculate him. With the help of our donor, I was able to successfully become pregnant, and we had our little girl last year. She is healthy and progressing amazingly, and I thank God for her every day. I kept my promise and never told anyone. However, Owen is struggling with connecting with our little girl. Here's where the trouble begins. Last month, he went out of town with his brothers for their friend's bachelor party. While on the trip, Owen told his brothers about our infertility issues and that our baby wasn't biologically his. One of his brothers must have told his wife, who told my husband's mother. I don't know why she would tell my husband's mother, except that she has never liked me. Their mother then came to our house and called me a lying W and tried to get my husband to leave with her. He just stood there silent. I told her that it was Owen's decision not to tell anyone, and she asked him if this was true. Again, he was silent, which his mother took as me being the liar. She then went to our nursery and started taking everything she'd ever given us for the baby back. I told her I didn't care about it, and I made more than enough to buy everything she gave us myself and better quality. This set her off, and she called my baby a filthy bastard when she said that I did something I know was harsh, but I believe she deserved it. I physically pushed her out of the door. I didn't hit her, but I did put my hands on her shoulders, pushing her out of the door, and threw all her crappy things out with her. After spirits had calmed down, I realized my husband had said nothing when his mother was berating me, calling me a liar, and when she called our child a filthy bastard. So I asked him why he was silent. He said he wasn't raised to be disrespectful the way I was, and that his mother hadn't said anything that wasn't true. She was just hurtful with what she said, and that we should let it go and wait for his mother to forgive us. I told him that I would never let it go, that his mother and anyone who agreed with her was not welcomed in our home, and that I didn't need to be forgiven when I've done nothing wrong. He then said the house was his, and as the head of the family, it was his decision. I said fine, but why did he allow her to call me a liar and a W? Those things are not true, and our child, no child really, should be called a bastard. He just repeated he would not argue with his mother. After that, I stopped speaking to him and started gathering up my daughter's things and purse and walked out the door with her. He tried to stop me and told me I couldn't take his daughter anywhere without him, and I lost the little bit of composure I had left. I told him she wasn't his daughter. He'd proved he didn't see her as his daughter when he'd allowed his mother to call her a filthy bastard and told him she wasn't his. He broke down into tears and begged me to come back inside, but at that time, I felt nothing. He looked pathetic to me. I've taken my baby with me and gone back home to my parents, and finally told my family the truth, which feels so good. They are completely in support of my decision and are not allowing my spineless husband anywhere near us, as he still refuses to apologize to me or set the record straight with his family. However, I told the sister-in-law that I was close to the truth, and she told the rest of his family. Half of his family is understanding, while the other side is on his mother's side, but they are all mad at my husband. I need time to cool down, but I know eventually my husband and I need to figure our marriage out. One thing is for certain, I will not return to his house until he apologizes to me and promises to protect me and his daughter fiercely. I want to see this in action, from starting with him telling his mother what she did was wrong and banning her from coming to see us until she asks for my forgiveness. We were also planning on having more children, as he wants a big family, but that is off the table, as I don't believe he is ready and we both need to get back into therapy. Wow. Well, Opie's mother-in-law sounds like a witch, and Opie's husband like a loser. Divorce is the only way I see in this situation. I could never forgive him if I was OP. He didn't protect his wife and daughter, and that's all that needs to be said. He is spineless and will never change. I think things will only get worse. So I'd divorce him sooner rather than later. I can't imagine how painful it is for OP to be in this situation. But she was hurt, and she needs to protect her daughter from this hurt in the future. Because if they hurt OP now, they will hurt the daughter as well. Well, they did already. She's just too little to understand that. And now let's see if the community agrees with me. A lovely love says, ask yourself this. Do you believe he is capable of changing? Everything he has said and allowed to be said to you is nothing but disrespectful. Cute Somewhere 2411 says, quote, he then said the house was his, and as the head of the family it was his decision, end quote. This is probably the most egregious part of your story for me. So the house is his, he's in charge. But when it comes to actually standing up for the family he's the head of, he has no responsibility? Very convenient. Your husband has a terminal combination of pride and cowardice. From start to finish, you had to bend over backwards to coddle his ego, but the second you were in the firing line, it suddenly isn't his problem. He wants all the benefits of being seen as the big man, with none of the actual behavior to back it up. Pathetic. Then to say you can't take his daughter when he just agreed with his mother that she's a bastard? Boy, bye. If he apologizes, it's going to be merely mouthed, and definitely not followed by changed behavior. I would personally start looking for a lawyer now. If you want, you could suggest couples counseling, but given his incredibly fragile ego, I doubt he would participate meaningfully in that process, and you'd be trying to undo a lifetime of mama's boy immaturity. It's Mini-Me says, he thinks his mother is right and your daughter's a filthy bastard. There is no coming back from this. Protect your daughter from him. I work with clients, and my job basically boils down to answering their questions and keeping them happy. Every 3 months, we hold meetings with their reps. We have an employee that has it all. Pink and platinum blonde highlights, a nose ring, and tattoos all over her body from the neck down. She wears heavy amounts of makeup and basically looks like a punk. She also wears a tank top that exposes her midriff and her straps. She sits near the office entrance and is one of the first people you see on your way in. She's been with us for the past 8 months, and every single time, without fail, I notice our clients' reps, from different companies, all give her weird looks. I've even seen them rolling their eyes at her. The last straw was from my latest meeting, where the rep outright said, "Wow, you hire just about anybody here, huh?" and then jerks his head towards her desk at the front. I try to laugh it off and say, "Good help is hard to find." He just raises his eyebrows and mutters, "She must be damn good at her job." After he left, I went to talk to the girl's manager about enforcing the dress code and how it's making our business look bad. Our office dress code is simple. Business casual, no facial piercings. Therefore, earrings are okay. And no facial tattoos. I actually had to look that up. It doesn't say anything about makeup, but none of the other women in the office have the goth, punk look either. Her manager promised he'd talk to her about it. A week later, I hear back that things have escalated. The girl in question admittedly refuses to adhere to the dress code and is fired back about the issue by claiming discrimination. I hear they don't want to fire her, but they also don't like hearing me tell them that our clients' reps have an issue with who we hire and how we present ourselves. I don't want her to be fired, but I also don't want her attire and appearance to detract from my work. Her manager is hoping she'll calm down after a while and conform to the dress code, because if not, and if his patience runs out, she's probably going to get the boot. Edit for more info. I'm not her manager. Her manager is her manager, who should have fixed this a long time ago. I made the complaint about her attire when my clients went from just rolling their eyes about it to verbal complaint. I also don't know how she looked for the interview. I wasn't the one who interviewed her. We work in separate departments. Well, in my opinion, professionalism includes professional attire. Also, with complaints coming from companies' customers, it's now a problem interfering with business. Also, it's not discrimination to have her dress accordingly. Her outfit is not a protected class. K. Corrido 1991 says, "Not the a-hole, and that's not discrimination. She is the first person they see when the reps walk through the door. She is the face of the company. You're asking her to wear business attire to seem professional. That's not out of line." Deleted says, "Not the a-hole. The bare midriff is violation of the business casual dress code. Straps, belly showing are casual, not business casual. Her hair and makeup are personal tastes and can't be retroactively regulated. Shelf-like ink says, honestly, I don't think she's the a-hole here. I'm guessing that she has her tattoos, piercings, and most likely short punk hair when she was hired 8 months ago. Was her appearance brought up at all then? Like, we'd love to have you, but here's our dress code. If you wish to work with us, we'll need you to conform to it. Can you do that? Was her appearance brought up at all in the last 8 months? Or was her punk look accepted in your workplace up until this last meeting? Start as you mean to finish. If you hired her whilst she presents herself like this, that means you are comfortable with her presenting herself like this. If it's just a matter of the tank top and heavy makeup, but you're willing to accept the tattoos and piercings, then you have a leg to stand on. Even punks need to look presentable in corporate environments. But if you're expecting her to take her nose piercings out or change her hair color, assuming it was dyed when she was hired, then you are in the wrong. I live in a state where, for some bizarre reason, the child support receiving parent has to sign off on the property that the payer wants to sell. The state places a lien on the property until I sign a document saying it's okay to cancel it. I got frantic text from my ex a few weeks back that I needed to sign this document in order for their house sale to go through. Our kids were with him, and my partner and I booked a cabin for ourselves to relax for a week. I didn't have a computer or anything. He asked if I could come back home just to sign that paper. I didn't want to drive 4 hours back just because my ex and his wife weren't prepared. They also didn't have a working car to come to us with the documents. I suggested that they find someone to drive the papers up and left it at that. He bombarded me with more messages, but I didn't bother responding because they weren't about the kids. I do feel guilty about one thing. My ex told me there was a FedEx printing center like 2 hours away, and they could also scan stuff. I still refused. I told him he needs to find someone to come where I was. The sale of their house fell through, and they lost the deposit they'd put down on another house that they were going to buy with the money from selling their house, which was pretty dumb to do before the sale was final, to be honest. Their current house has issues and has been on the market for a while now, so they're pretty upset that they lost the buyer. My ex accused me of sabotaging their finances, and I may have rolled my eyes at him and kept silent when he dropped off our kids. Am I the a-hole? I don't really understand. Are there no courier services, rental cars, buses? I'd hitchhike before I'd let a deal like that fall through. Instead, he whined and hoped that he could guilt OP into ruining her vacation for him. This is just the consequence of that action. And now let's hear the community's opinion. Scrappy says, not the a-hole. This is the perfect example of lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. Ghost Off Kilgore says, not the a-hole. You were willing to sign as long as he brought the papers to you. That seems a totally fair stance. It would have inconvenienced you massively to go to him or drive 2 hours to a FedEx center. Okay, it would have inconvenienced him more to either get to you or get someone to help him get to you. But this is his finances and his responsibility. I don't know how much that deposit was, but man, it'd probably have been cheaper hiring an Uber to pick up the papers from the FedEx center, bring them to you, and you could mail them to him, or just hire a car or something. So I, 29 female, haven't seen my family since the world bug, unless it was FaceTime. I'm not really close to my family, as I see them as close-minded and not as forward-thinking as myself. So I don't usually share information I don't feel is necessary. When I found out I was pregnant in March, I didn't share it with anyone who didn't need to know, as in my boss, close friends, co-workers, and my boyfriend. In July, I got an invitation to my brother's, 27, wedding. I figured it was the best place to let the family know I was having a child and catch up, because it wasn't like it was a proper wedding, as it was a barbecue in my aunt's backyard. So today, I show up after hours of driving hormonal and tired. All of a sudden, all attention was on me, as if I wanted it. Between congratulations and asking the name, gender, in which I told everyone it wasn't their business. My brother's sister-in-law called me to the side and asked me my problem for taking attention away from the bride. I rolled my eyes and told her to tell Rose if she thought my pregnancy was an issue, she needed help, then walked off. After that and a few nasty comments from the bride's side, I took my leave because the negative energy was bringing me down. I have since gotten many phone calls calling me an attention seeker and said I made myself the main character of the day. But in my opinion, no one is owed my medical information, nor did I stand up and make a pregnancy announcement. I basically just showed up. Personal Main says, you're the a-hole. Good grief, woman. Get some personal insight. I see them as close-minded and not as forward-thinking as myself. Arrogant much? It wasn't like it was a proper wedding, as it was a barbecue in my aunt's backyard. A wedding is a wedding, not what you think constitutes a proper wedding. If they ended up as husband and wife after a ceremony, then it was a flipping wedding. It was not your day, your place, or your moment to take. Everything they said to you was correct. You took the attention and then left. Incredibly selfish and immature. Edit. Forgot the part where you shoot for redemption. Nor did I stand up and make a pregnancy announcement. I basically just showed up. So, someone as enlightened as yourself didn't have enough forethought to know what it would cause? Cinny Toasty says, "You're the a-hole, not for showing up pregnant, but for being insufferable. Your attitude throughout is just unkind, telling people the gender isn't their business, and just being snippy all around." Math Girl says, "You're the a-hole. I don't understand how you could possibly think showing up visibly pregnant at an event where no one knew in advance wouldn't be attention-seeking.